Welcome back, everybody. Alright, I believe this is going to be video number 7 in the series where we're restoring this 1946 Model D Gibson garden tractor. So tonight we're going to go ahead and start tearing into the transmission. Previous videos took an act of God to get it removed from the tractor, but here it is. It's out on the bench. So we need to go ahead and take it apart completely and assess any damage that's been done to it. I don't suspect any internal damage has been done, but the parts definitely need to be cleaned up, and we'll go ahead and start with the restoration process on this here unit, which is kind of key to the whole thing. So I hope you enjoy the series. Big thumbs up if you will, leave comments, interact, that's great, and we'll go ahead and continue on with this. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and start by removing the top cover here and the shifter for it. We've already had this off once, and that's how we determined that we were going to have to go ahead and tear into it, because it had water in it and the gears and stuff are all rusted up. So best to go ahead and just do it now. I could have probably flushed some diesel through it, it'd be okay, but you know, as long as this tractor's been sitting, that's why we're going ahead and doing what we're doing with the restoration here. It needs to be gone through. Do it right, it lasts for years to come. And, you know, maybe my grandkids someday will enjoy it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get this removed. Now, this is a GM transmission, so it's pretty standard for the 40s. So, in fact, this tractor, from what I'm learning, the rear end and the transmission were pulled from units that they found in the junkyards. So, pretty cool. Alright, so there is our main cover with the shifter and our fork, and here's where we start to have fun. So we're just going to have to tear into this and go through it step by step and see what we get. Go ahead and get those freed up there. Hope you're able to see this. Alright, let's go ahead and jump in here with you guys. A little closer. Okay. So what we have here, let's go ahead and take these off. Now, I've never been into one of these transmissions before, so we're going to learn together. Okay. It looks like we just have, a couple setting rods there with the forks on them. Look at that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull those out next. Put you guys up like that. We'll just kind of stage stuff back behind here. Alright, there's fork number 1. Okay. There's fork number 2. Okay. We're down to the main line. Okay. So as you can see, it is extremely gummy down in there. Yeah. I wonder why it wouldn't shift sideways. Gears are all free, which is a good thing. This is neutral. Locked in there. Okay. Alright, well, let me kind of see what we got to do here next. I'm suspecting that what I'm going to need to do is go ahead and remove this front bearing retainer right here. Go ahead and get all this stuff removed. Pull out the snap rings and stuff. And that should release it so that we can pull the shaft out and start removing some gears and stuff. Alright, so I got this retainer out. This thing is nasty. There we go. Alright, so there is our drive gear. Great. Bearing feels good, just really tight. Alright. I'll go ahead and set you guys up here a little bit differently. Alright, so we have the front off. Should be able to go ahead and start sliding off. There's a set of needle bearings. Alright, so we're continuing on here. Going to our retainers here. I got this piece out. Everything appears to be loose in there. It's just a matter of what comes out next. That I just don't know. Okay, so it looks like this gear needs to come out. This might be some kind of retainer. There it is. Awesome. So, okay, there's that retainer. Alright, here's that piece. And this one I'm suspecting is going to have to come out with the shaft. Okay. Like there may be another retainer of some sort. I just don't know, people. So, I don't know. Let's give it a couple taps and just see if it kind of snaps loose. Doesn't look like it. Alright. Well, let's go ahead and remove this in piece. I see some bolts here, so maybe that cap's got to come off next. We are learning together tonight, guys. But that's the main thing. You can't be intimidated by this stuff. You know, you just gotta dig in and learn about it. It's a lost art. Okay. clean up enough stuff from around it to where we can get the head of the bolt. So I had some friends just return from town. They said snow is definitely sticking in town, which is probably about 4 miles away. So, and then it's expected to hit us about 10 o'clock tonight. Right now, it's right at 7. So, it's coming. So, don't know how bad it'll be. I know the Sierra is getting hit hard. Yeah, loads of fun. Let's get an extension here. There we go. One more. Oh yeah, I get nice and greasy and dirty. Okay, that should do it for that. Now typically I would go ahead and clean up all this grease, but we're going to have this thing all torn apart anyway. There we go. Look at that, there we are. Okay, the top part is out. There's our top gear. Okay. Now we need to work on the bottom part, and oh boy is it rusty down there. Look at that, oh that's hard. Okay. It's just a pin that drops out. All the gears. Yeah. Okay. So we got this right here. I'm suspecting that that probably needs to twist out of there. I am not sure. There we go. Now she's free. Let's see what we do here. Okay. Here's what we have. We have the gear set down in there, and the pin is going to slide out just like that. Okay, pin's out. Let's be able to remove that gear set now. Nasty. Alright. And that's why we're cleaning it up right there. Look at that. Oh, yeah, yummy. Let's just go ahead and dispose of that right now. Hope you guys are taking good notes on how to put this back together. Alright, so for this other one, I'm noticing that there's a bolt right here, which I'm imagining is going to keep it there. Then it looks like a couple freeze plugs on each end. So, it's a little bit bigger. It's like 9/16. Half. That one's 9. There it is. Alright. Go along the set bolt. Look at that. Alright, I think what we need to do is knock out one of these freeze plugs. Go ahead and grab my on. Through. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring our block up here. Yucky mess. Get you guys right in with the action here. Okay. There we are. Freeze plug is out. Okay. And we may be able to knock that one out along with the gear set. There it is. Alright. So there is the other one. There is the set pin. There is the bottom one. Oh yeah. So we have the case left. And it is a mess. Just a bunch of gunk. Alright, I didn't think that was going to take very long to knock apart. It definitely did not. So what we're going to do now, we've already got that plug out. I think there was one more plug. Yeah, the side fill plug. So let's go ahead and take that one out too. There we go. Alright, so this messy old contraption is all empty and it is ready for some rehab. I'm going to turn her upside down. There's a bunch of gunk in there. Let it run out. Yeah. Look at that. Well, what do you guys think? Said hopefully took some good video because we're going to have to reassemble this here. Pretty exciting stuff. Alright, I think that piece is ready for rehab cleaning. Let's go ahead and clean up our mess on the bench. Look at that yummy stuff. Oh yeah. Alright, the time has come. So I actually have a parts washer, but it's just another item that takes up space. And so I actually found that it's easier to just use an old tub like this, which fits right on my counter. And when the time comes, just put stuff in. Now, I've never really used this degreaser before. We're going to give it a try. I just happen to have it. It's a concentrated degreaser. So I'm thinking let's do probably about half of it there. And let me go get some warm water. And let's dump some warm water in there. And then let's also put some OxyClean in there. But I'm game for new stuff. So let's just do that. Good old OxyClean. And then let's do a little more water. There we go. There's our biodegradable cleaner. Non-hazardous. Alright, let's grab a parts brush. housing. See it already working. So let's go and let that bottom soak for just a little bit, and then I'll come back and brush some more onto it. Alright, so let's go ahead and brush a little bit. And we'll grab our taller brush this time. Definitely looking really good now. Gonna do a little rotation. Oh yeah. Nothing exciting, folks. Just takes a lot of time cleaning parts. That's what goes into these old tractors. Kind of relaxing. Got some music going on. Just get to spend some time in the shop. And just a change of pace from a normal day. Okay, we'll start on the inside. We know it's really bad across the bottom. Oh yeah. Alright. Got a little bit more right there. Let's go ahead and set that aside. And I think while we got some material still here, let's go ahead and set some of these gears and stuff in here. Alright, and I think I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands and get some gloves on for this. I should probably have gloves on to begin with, but I'm not a gloves type of person. Alright, gloves are on against my wheel. Let's go ahead and clean up some parts. Yep, so this is what we'll be doing a lot of here is just going through each component and cleaning it off. So when we get a part that we think is all cleaned up, we're going to set it aside. Now I can tell that I'm going to have to get some of the other degreaser. The stuff isn't bad. It's definitely removing this stuff. But the Purple Power stuff works so much better. So we're going to have to do that. So not a big deal. We tried something new and it doesn't work every time. Well, like I said, this stuff is definitely removing that oily stuff, but we'll get some Purple Power in the morning, provided we can get out. Alright, I'm just going to do this a little bit more. We'll go ahead and get these parts processed through, and this will be phase one. Alright guys, I got the first batch ran through. I'm not crazy about leaving them wet, but we are going to get some Purple Power tomorrow, and we'll do them again, and then we'll get some degreaser and clean them up real good. So, yeah. Got the second batch in here. We're just going to let it soak tonight. Isn't going to hurt nothing. And we'll come back tomorrow. I'm thinking I might go ahead and add a little bit more fluid, get the level up just a little bit. That way I can get underneath this and just let it do its thing. So that worked okay. Not crazy about it, but you know, for what it is, and then it's stuff that I had laying around here, getting all that used up. And here's where we're going to end for tonight. I just added some more water, so I think there's 4 gallons of water now in this container. It's covering the parts mostly, which is good. We'll just let it do its thing tonight, and then we'll come back in the morning and we'll see how much grease is lifted off, and there should be a whole layer of greasy stuff. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Time to go relax, and we'll continue on tomorrow. Good morning, guys. Alright, we're back out here. So we've let this stuff soak overnight, and I want to show you what it's done. mid results. I'm not absolutely crazy about it, but I am going to head to town here in a little bit and go get some Purple Power parts cleaner and some WD-40, and yeah, we'll clean the rest of these up today. As you can see, look at all the grease that's lifted up to the top of the water. It's got a nice film layer. Yeah. This was some baking soda that I threw in there last night just to kind of see how that would do, and it just hit the top part of that deal. So, yeah, I think overall it did okay. It cut the grease. Obviously, it took the grease off, but not absolutely happy with it. But we tried. So let's go ahead and go get some real stuff here. Alright guys, we are back. Ran to town, got some Purple Power. Usually I get like the 2-gallon container, but this stuff was at a better price, so I went ahead and got it. We'll use it. And then more WD-40, and then we'll give this liquid rinse a try. Don't have a whole lot more bolts to break loose, but we'll definitely be using this around somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up my mess here, kind of move things around, and get ready to start using some of this. I think we'll go ahead and go with the guts of the transmission first, get everything cleaned up and let it get out and dry, and then we'll get to the bigger pieces. Alright, so first things first, let's get rid of this old stuff. The can is just a little bit too big for me to try to take and move around, so we'll fill some water out here. Well, let's see. Yeah, there we go now. Well, we should probably keep our bolts. What do you think? Forgot I had to put those in there. But give it a little solution. Yeah, nothing else. Loose all that rust down there. Okay. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. I have the perfect spot for it. Yeah. So I got a collector out there that collects the grease, and then we'll let the water go. What I've done over here is this is just an old sweatshirt. I've laid it out there, so as we clean up parts and stuff, and they're ready pretty much to go, we'll go ahead and move them over here and let stuff dry, and then we'll probably be giving like the gears and stuff a coating of oil, that way they don't rust again, and they'll be in good shape for when we reassemble this thing. So we're going to go ahead and start with nuts and bolts. Let me show you this. So I just have an oil pan here, catch pan, and this is actually a basket that I got out of a turkey baster or whatever. And the pan was actually heavy. It's heavy duty. I got it out in the yard, but this fits perfectly in that basket. So we'll use that for parts. Set parts up there, and we can brush stuff on. But to start with the little nuts and bolts, I'm just going to use this little pan, set it there. Let's get a little bit of fluid in there, and we'll start cleaning up those bolts. That'll start us off. So this stuff is pretty potent. What I'm going to be doing is, as I use it and it gets dirty, I'll actually put it in another bucket, and we'll keep using it. I've never really had this stuff go completely bad on me, but it just gets nasty. So yeah, let's go ahead and put some bolts in there. Let them do their magic. I got a couple of little parts we can do that with. The retainer And how about the bearing? Alright, let's go ahead and let that soak for just a little bit, and then I'll start brushing parts out and cleaning stuff up. Making some good progress. As you can see here, I've got little parts on the table here, and then so I've done all the little stuff I can, and now I'm ready to go ahead and start with the bigger stuff, which means using this and more fluid. So let's go ahead and just empty what we've done here right on in there. Yeah, so it got rid of a little bit more. And I'm just going to leave that in so I can kind of get an idea as to height-wise. That'll probably work. Okay. Alright. Now I think for these, I'm going to go ahead and start with the ratchet off. Let's go ahead and drop these components down in there. Cleaned up good. Alright, so same process. That's it, just kind of going. I'll end up time-lapsing you guys here. Alright, so we got her cleaned up. Looks pretty good. There's a couple teeth that are in pretty bad shape. A little rough right there. A couple busted off there. But overall, I think we're okay. If this were any specialer of a tractor, I'd probably go ahead and try to replace the stuff. But I just don't have the funds to do that. And I think it'll work fine for as little as we're going to use this tractor. Just to be a show tractor. So we'll add that to the pile. And we'll go ahead and see what our next victim is here. Alright, you guys get the gist of what I'm doing here. So it's just a very meticulous job of going through and clearing all the grease and stuff off these components and inspecting them. So I'm going to continue on doing it, and then we'll come back once I have the bulk of it done. I'll probably come back when we get to the housing, because that's going to be the challenge part. Alright, so I just wanted to chime in here a little bit. So my purple powers worked great, but up till this point, so it's how I know when I need to go ahead and swap it out. When I use wire brushes, it'll start gumming up on the end here. It'll get really greasy, and to fix that, I usually just go and brush off what I can of it. So this is definitely needing to be replaced now. So we'll go ahead and put it in a bucket and get the paint cleaned up and put some fresh stuff in. So we can continue on with the housing, and we got the main drive line assembly left to do. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I decided that this has got to come apart. It's just too gummy in there. So got this little snap ring ready to come off. And just as a visual note, the little tips go down into it. There we go. There's that. Okay, so just like that. Okay. There's a snap ring in there that's holding that on. So let me go ahead and get that out. Alright, I went ahead and got the gear off there. Had our first casualty. I busted a snap ring. Not a big deal. Should be able to go ahead and replace it. So next, I'm thinking I can go ahead and pull this out. I see another snap ring in there. Let me go ahead and clean up this a little bit. It'd be nice to take out the whole shaft. That way I can inspect the other end and see if we need to replace that seal. So, yeah, let me see what we can do here. Alright, so I was able to get the snap ring off. However, it's going to do me absolutely no good. And the reason why is because It's designed so that you pull this off and then the shaft would come off. And this is all welded up, been fixed obviously. So yeah, that's not going to work. But regardless, I can get in there and clean everything up in there real good, and we should be able to be done with that. There's no real need to come off. It'll probably leak a little bit because there is a seal in there, but short of cutting off that yoke and trying to figure out how to put a new one on, I just don't see any other way to fix it. So yeah, so I'm going to do is go ahead and go with a new pair of gloves, and we'll get this stuff cleaned up. Alright guys, we are down to the housing now. As you can see, we've used about a gallon of liquid, a little bit more, and I have refreshed it for this. So let's go ahead and get this cleaned up completely, and then yeah, this is where we need to be. So let's do it. I think I'll go ahead and time lapse this as well. Alright, so I've gone ahead and cleaned the outside of this unit here. I think what I'll do is go ahead and put the rack back in here now. Because what we'd like to do is get her to stand up there. I think there's a little bit of this. So this is the first part we're going to work with. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and wash it, get all the soap and stuff off of it, and then we'll bring it back out here, and then we need to really tap these holes, just clean up the threads on them. So that'll be the next thing, let her dry, and then I think we're going to have to build some gaskets. I got the main housing sitting here. I took it in and scrubbed it down with some soapy water and got it dried. So it's drying right now. We've got our work surface all cleaned up. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring that housing unit over here, and we'll bring out the tap and die set, and we need to chase those holes for the cover and stuff. Go ahead and get those threads cleaned up. Just make sure there's no gunk in there. And then with that done, the next step will be creating a couple gaskets. Pulled out a little bolt that we pulled out of there, tested the threads, and it is an 18 count, 5/16. So I was able to verify that by running a die and just running it up, and it worked out great. So now we got the tap, and we're not going to go crazy on this. We're just going to run them up and down in there just to clean the threads. And the goal, as you can see, the tip of it here, let's see where we at, right there. So it's got a bunch of stuff built up in between the grooves, and that's what we want to do, is clean the threads that way. So everything looks good. I'll go ahead and clean up my die, and I'm going to do that to all the other ones, and we'll come back to you guys in just a minute. Alright, I went through and got them all cleaned out. Next thing I'm going to do is use some fine sandpaper and just go over the surface where we're going to be building a gasket. Alright, let's do a little card cleaner, or brake fluid, or brake cleaner, gosh. believe that one's ready to go. Let's go ahead and get the far side. Alright, we got all the holes chased. While I had the taps and dies out, I went ahead and did the mounting holes as well, the 1/2 inch. So we're looking good there. So I think we're at this point now where I'm going to go ahead and clean up, and then we will go ahead and figure out what we got to do to make some gaskets. Alright guys, so I pulled out my my paper here down to 2 sheets. So this cork is a little thick, but I'm going to go ahead and use that as the cover. It'll smush down and it'll work just fine. And then this paper here would be great for that one side that we need to do. So that's what we're going to use. That's it. Yeah, expenses. The stuff isn't very expensive, but when you do a project like this, the prices accumulate. For example, I spent $50 this morning on cleaning supplies, that bucket of blue purple or purple power cleaner and WD-40 and stuff. So yeah, if you are able to and would like to send me some stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. Give me a call, message me. Alright, so I've made gaskets a few different ways in my videos, and we're going to go ahead and do the way that everybody recommends I do it, which is the good old ping hammer deal, just like that. I'm not crazy about that. I've never had really good luck, but we'll give it a try. There we go. I guess it's okay, guys. Said I'm not crazy about this way. I like cutting out my gaskets, but we'll go ahead and go with that. I'll grab some scissors here. Okay. Alright, so we got the basic core here. What we're going to do now is we can use a marker. See if that one will work. And let's go ahead and get an idea as to profile. Now the next trick is we have to figure out the holes, where the holes are at. So let's do this. Let's cheat. Let's build some markers here. And alright, and as you can see, we got our gasket. We got a little close up there, but I think we'll be okay. We're going to put some lube on there anyways, some sealant. So yeah, like I said, I'm not a big fan of doing it that way. Alright, so this is just another way to do it. I figure since I've done other ways, I'm also going to do this way as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to coat this with a light grease, and then we're just going to turn it upside down and press it on there, and it should leave a trail of the grease. And then we just cut it out. So we should have enough on there. Now ideally we could go like that, but being that we've already got a flat surface, we can just go right upside down. Shall we do it? Just like that. As long as we don't slide. Is it gonna work? Boom, boom, boom. There we go. We should be able to get a pretty good template off of that. Alright guys, so that's about what we're looking at. Not the cleanest job, but I think I can make that work. I can get my knife set up and we'll get that score out. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this mess cleaned up. We were able to successfully make a couple gaskets. I think the next process is, I don't know that I want to start with assembly tonight, but it sure wouldn't hurt to go ahead and get some primer on that case. So I think I'm going to do that. And of course, where's my primer? Oh, it's behind this table, like in this cabinet right here. Yeah, so it'll take me a little bit to get to that. Alright, I was able to finagle the primer and stuff out of the cabinet. Before we begin, I'm going to go ahead and use an acetone and wipe down the case and get the last little minute oils off there and everything. And then we should be able to go ahead and get her primered. I'm not too worried about the getting paint on the races and stuff. I'll be able to clean those off later. So yeah, I think that's where we need to start. Got my favorite brushes. I have this magic paint primer, and that's what we'll be using. So that's a new one, that's an open one. I think that one's still good. We're going to pop it open and find out. If not, we'll throw it away. So I guess step number one, go ahead and pop this open. Okay. I really like the corner of this. And I think acetone does a really good job of cleaning up parts, preparing it for a paint. And this, I would typically spray, but it's just a little bit too cold to get out all that spray gear today, and I don't have enough parts cleaned up to make it worthwhile. So this is going to get hand primered, and it'll probably end up getting hand painted too. So trying to figure out what I'm going to do for paint. I believe that Ford gray would work just fine. I'm going to check with my Tractor Supply and see if they got the Magic. I may go ahead and contact Magic directly and see what I can work out with them. So I'm going to go ahead and stand this up like this, right on over here. We should be able to paint the top, sides, and then kind of work our way down. And with that, because this is a lower profile than this, we should be able to flip it back over and get the other side touched up. So, alright, got the primer all mixed up here. I don't know about you guys, but this brand of paint and primer products is not that bad. I've used them for a few years now. In fact, this can I probably used 4 years ago. I think I might have used it when I restored my articulated tractor, and it did just fine holding up. So let's go ahead and brush some stuff on here. Now typically when I clean up parts, I like to get them primered right away. I'm not in a moisture controlled environment here, so I found that if you don't do that, they start to rust up really quick. In fact, this has already got rust developing on it, so it's good that we're doing this. Just going to give it a light coat. There's going to be brush marks on it. We can give a little light sanding and then do another coat down the road here. Just trying to preserve it and keep her clean so we can start getting it put back together. Slow and easy. Alright guys, so like that, got our first coat on there, and I think it went on fairly well. There are a few little streaks, but I think we're just going to let it dry like that, and then like I said, we can go through and sand it and then do it the other way or whatever. So, not much more I could do on this tonight, so I think the plan is I'm going to go ahead and clean up my brush, and we'll let this dry, and we'll go ahead and get this video in the mail or get it on the line to you guys. And the next video, we should be reassembling this transmission. So, hope you've enjoyed this. A lot of work goes into restoring tractors like this. So, yeah, loads of fun. And if you would, drop me a line. Let me know how I'm doing in the comments. And if you have any ideas. And, yeah, like always, until next time, have a good one.